In a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills and fields of green, there lived a boy named Arjun. Arjun had a comfortable life, but he had a bad habit. He was lazy. He avoided chores, disliked hard work, and spent his days lying around, dreaming of an easy life. His parents, worried about his future, decided to take him to the village monk, a wise man known for guiding people through life's challenges. One afternoon, Arjun's father took him to the monastery, where the old monk lived in a small, humble hut. The monk, with a serene smile, welcomed them in. After listening to the father's concerns about Arjun's laziness, the monk simply nodded. "I see," the monk said thoughtfully. "Arjun, would you like to hear a story?" Arjun, curious but indifferent, shrugged. "Sure, if it's not too long." The monk chuckled softly. "I promise it's worth your time." He sat down on a mat and began. Once upon a time, in a village much like ours, there lived a farmer named Bhola. He was not born into wealth or comfort. In fact, Bhola's life was hard from the very beginning. His parents passed away when he was young, leaving him with nothing but a small piece of barren land and a rundown house. While others might have given up, Bhola did not. He knew he had to survive, and the only way forward was through hard work. Bhola started his days before the sun rose. Every morning he walked to his fields, tilling the soil, planting seeds and tending to his crops. The land was dry and unforgiving, and the rains were unpredictable. Many in the village pitied him, saying, "Why do you work so hard, Bhola? The land is cursed and nothing will grow here. You should find an easier way to live." But Bhola smiled and replied, "I may not know when the rains will come or whether my crops will grow, but I know that if I don't work, I have no chance at all. Hard work is my only way." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The sun scorched the earth, and the rains didn't come. Bhola's crops withered, and many people gave up on farming that year. But Bhola didn't stop. He continued to water his fields with whatever little he had. He repaired his tools, mended his fences, and kept his hope alive. One night, as Bhola sat outside his home, staring at the stars, he began to doubt himself. Maybe the others are right, he thought. Maybe I'm just wasting my time. But then he remembered something his father had once told him. Success doesn't come to those who wait for luck, but to those who keep going, even when the road is tough. The next morning, Bhola rose before dawn and returned to his fields. His hands were blistered, his back ached, but he kept going. Slowly, the clouds began to gather, and after months of drought, the first drops of rain fell from the sky. It wasn't much, but it was enough. The rains returned, and the seeds that Bhola had planted so diligently began to sprout. The fields, which had been barren and dry, came to life with lush green crops. By the end of the season, Bhola had harvested more than he ever dreamed possible. The villagers were stunned. "How did you do it, Bhola?" they asked. "How did you succeed when we all failed?" Bhola smiled humbly. "I didn't give up," he said. "I worked even when it seemed pointless." Hard work may not always bring immediate results, but it always creates the possibility of success. And that's all I needed, a chance. As the years passed, Bhola's farm grew larger, and he became one of the most respected and prosperous farmers in the village. He built a better house, helped his neighbors in need, and never forgot the value of perseverance. While others had given up during difficult times, Bhola's hard work had transformed his life. When the monk finished his story, he looked at Arjun, who was now sitting upright, listening intently. "What do you think, Arjun?" the monk asked gently. Arjun shifted uncomfortably. Bhola was really determined, wasn't he? But it sounds like he worked harder than anyone else. "I don't know if I could do that," the monk smiled. Hard work is not about doing more than others. It's about doing your best with what you have. Bhola's success wasn't because he was stronger or smarter than anyone else. It was because he didn't let doubt stop him. He didn't wait for perfect conditions. He made the most of what he had, even when it seemed hopeless. Arjun thought about this for a moment. But what if I try and nothing changes? What if I fail? The monk's eyes twinkled with kindness. Failure is not the end, Arjun. It's part of the journey. Every time Bhola's crops failed, he learned something new. Every setback was a step forward in disguise. The important thing is not to give up. You see, true laziness isn't about resting or taking breaks. It's about giving up before you've even tried. Arjun sat quietly, absorbing the monk's words. For the first time, he realized that his laziness wasn't just about avoiding work. It was about avoiding the fear of failure, the effort needed to improve, and the responsibility that came with effort. The monk continued, Bhola understood that life is not about waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. Whether you succeed or fail, the only thing that matters is that you keep going. In the end, hard work shapes not just what we achieve, but who we become. Arjun nodded slowly, his mind filled with thoughts. The story of Bhola, the farmer who didn't give up, stayed with him. That evening, when Arjun returned home, he felt a change within himself. He understood now that while success might take time and effort, the real reward came from the growth and strength earned along the way. The next morning, for the first time in a long while, Arjun woke up early, ready to face the day with a new sense of purpose. More of the story is simple. Success isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about putting in the effort, learning from failures, and continuing to move forward. Hard work may not guarantee instant results, but it always opens the door to opportunity.